Hi, my name's Kaiden. I work in the mailroom of $1 million flower growing company. My mom laments that if only I earned $1 million too. But I'm actually proud to be working in such a successful place, even if I'm just a cog in the machine. Okay. There's another reason I like it there too. That reason's name is Jamie. Just saying her name makes me feel butterflies in my stomach. I remember the day when I first saw her. It was my first day. I was really nervous, and I was fumbling with my paperwork in the elevator when she walked in. She smiled, and it was like angels were singing.
Hi.
Hi. Just one word, and I was in love. I mean, sure, that was the first and only time she'd ever spoken to me, but she's always busy, you know? I'd get a glimpse of her every now and again, and every time I saw her, my feelings for her would grow. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth haven't I asked her out yet? Well, things are complicated. I'm the guy who works at the mailroom, and she's a senior executive. Oh, and she has a boyfriend. Doug's a walking human trash heap. I swear I'm not being harsh. He's awful to everyone at the office. Bosses, people around, even though he's nobody's boss. He just lords around the fact that he's the boss's daughter's boyfriend. He treats everyone like dirt. I don't actually mind that he barks orders at me as if he pays my salary, but what I don't get is why Jamie continues to tolerate him. Every time I see them together, he's shouting at her. He's cheated on her so many times with almost every assistant in the building. It's an open secret, and yet she keeps giving him second, third, 24 chances. One day I was passing mail around when I heard Jamie crying in the cafeteria, and then the shouting began. I saw Doug standing over her, ripping off pages of a notebook. I told you! I'm busy! I can't just swing by to some stupid family thing that you want me to! Some of us have jobs and don't get to relax like we're daddy's spoiled princess!
I told you about this months ago. You said you'd come.
Stop talking back to me! Just leave her alone, man. Mind your own business, mail boy! But all the shouting and commotion attracted the attention of our coworkers, and they all looked at Doug with disapproval. Nobody else did anything, though. Still, Doug must have felt embarrassed by all the attention, and so he took revenge on me. He slipped a letter into my cart that was addressed to the boss. I delivered it as per usual, but before I could exit the CEO's office, he called me over. Come here, young man. Come. Read this. It was a pretty strange request since the boss never, ever spoke to me before, but I was happy to oblige. Dear Mr. CEO, every time you pass by the halls, the office starts smelling like old dirt. With all that money, you'd think you can afford cologne. Wash up sometime, will you? Sincerely, Kate, sir, I had nothing to do with this. Get out of my building right now, and never come back! I knew it was Doug. It had his dumb fingerprints all over it. But what could I do? I was just the mail guy, and he was the heiress's boyfriend. I lost my job, but I bounced back. I found a nice job working for a pet services company as a pet sitter. And honestly, even if I wasn't earning as much, I enjoyed it. And I got tips. One day I got a call out to pet sit a cat. Cats were great to look after. You barely had to do anything because they basically took care of themselves. That day, Jamie's path and mine crossed again. Westworld Pet Services! Oh. Hi.
It's you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm happy to see my boyfriend's antics didn't work too well. You found another job. And I'm glad you'll be the one to look after Mr. Tibbles.
At your service, Miss Jamie.
Just call me Jamie.
Jamie walked me to the park where Mr. Tibbles loved to go, and on the way we caught up. She was uncharacteristically talkative. She went on and on about how Doug didn't like the cat being around the house whenever he visited. So every time she has to scramble to find someone to watch her. I became Jamie's go-to sitter, and Mr. Tibbles and I began to like each other. But then, everything came to a head. One day, Doug went to Jamie's house to surprise her for her birthday and found only Mr. Tibbles inside. He threw a tantrum after finding out that Jamie had gone out with her girlfriends without telling him. He trashed Jamie's place, and then he took Mr. Tibbles and dumped him in the middle of the woods. "Ah, stupid cat! Get lost!" Jamie got home to find her place sacked and her beloved pet gone. She went out in the middle of a thunderstorm to search for Mr. Tibbles and came back empty-handed. She called me in a panic. But then the call suddenly cut off and I heard a thud. I rushed to her house, and as soon as I opened the door, I saw Jamie on the floor, unconscious. I called an ambulance and rode with her to the hospital. I stayed by her side the whole time, and 3 days later, she woke up. Only, she was different.
Oh, thank God you're here. Babe, we have to find Mr. Tibbles.
I found her outside the house. It seems he found his way home after the storm.
Oh, I love you. You're my hero.
I had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, Jamie was acting as if I was her boyfriend. And when I told her I wasn't who I thought she was, she just laughed.
Don't be silly. I just fainted from exhaustion. I don't have amnesia, babe.
And then she would faint. And the moment she woke up, this cycle would repeat. I was so worried that I told the doctor this. But after running her through a battery of tests, the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her. And so she was sent home. She wouldn't let me leave. She was convinced that I was her boyfriend. She even said that we lived together. I was so worried about her being alone that I left everything behind and moved in with her. I gave her the fantasy life she seemed to be longing for. I took care of her and Mr. Tibbles. We went on dates, on spa weekends. I cooked for her and I kissed her goodnight every day. And in the morning, I'd make her breakfast in bed. From the outside looking in, you'd think we were an ordinary happy couple with our cat. I heard a rumor that some stupid little loser has stolen my girl. Now, tell me that's just a rumor and you're just here by coincidence. Or what, Doug? Or this? Doug couldn't make sense of what was happening, but he didn't have to, because Jamie landed a crisp slap across his cheek.
You are trespassing and hurling insults at my boyfriend. Now, I don't know who you are, but I suggest you leave right now before I call the cops.
What are you talking about, babe? It's me, Doug, your boyfriend.
My boyfriend's right here, and it's not you, dummy. I have no idea who you are. And if I did, I'd sooner date a mop than even consider going out with someone like you.
That was the first time I actually saw Doug get any sort of emotion other than anger. It was as if he was feeling a mixture of sadness, fury, embarrassment, and pain. Jamie really laid it on him, and I have to say, I almost felt sorry for the guy. Except I didn't, because he was garbage. Jamie took me back to her dad's office, and there she apologized on my behalf, explaining what really happened with the letter and how it was Doug who wrote it in the hopes of getting me in hot water. An investigation was launched, and sure enough, the draft for the letter was found in Doug's laptop. The dummy didn't even delete it or scrub his printing history. Doug was sacked without notice. No. No, please, sir. Please, I don't want to lose my job. Jamie, please. You don't want to do this. Kaiden, bro, I'm sorry. Please tell them not to fire me. I looked at Jamie. Just then I realized How could she have known all of this if she couldn't remember the fact that I wasn't her boyfriend in the first place? The guards took Doug away, screaming and yelping like a baby. And then, it was as if Jamie knew what I was thinking and she smiled.
Gotcha! I've been pretending this whole time. I just wanted a reason not to get back with Doug again. And you were there. With me.
Well, that's a way to dump someone.
There was one thing that wasn't pretend, though.
What's that?
That.
I smiled and kissed her back. The whole time, Jamie had been lucid all along, and all she wanted was to live the life she deserved with the man she deserved, and I was happy enough to be that.